Okay guys, welcome to a Tesla Model Y long-range all-wheel drive range test. This is a Juniper. Now I've just charged up the car to 95%, so I'm just going to turn the camera to the screen. We're going to go from Zagreb to Zadar. It's a little bit less than 300-kilometer trip, but it's a little bit of flat terrain and then a mixed going up and down through the hills, through the mountains, down to the coast. So we're going to see how this performs compared to my 2021 Model 3 long range. If this could make it. This is a heavier car, but it should be more efficient now, but we'll see what's the range and consumption on highway driving 130, maybe a little bit 140, but we'll adjust accordingly. Now I've just charged up at the local Kaufland fast charger, 95%. Car says here 500 kilometers of range, so let's head out. Now I've used the Kaufland charger just to charge up a little bit because it was the closest and the cheapest fast charger. Tesla Supercharger is just outside Zagreb, so it's not in the route, and I wanted to leave from Zagreb with 95 ready, not stop and charge. Okay, so I've charged up in Kaufland because it's the cheapest fast charger closest to me. Tesla does have a supercharger. It's free for this car because it's a press car, but Zagreb Supercharger is just outside the city, so it's not in my route. The plan is to travel this 300-kilometer trip without stopping, so driving normally at normal speed limits to prove that you don't need to have any compromise when driving EV. There's no point of driving 100 or 120 on a highway if there's a 130 speed limit. Weather conditions are ideal, 23 degrees outside, so that's the temperature battery likes, and we'll see the consumption and the performance for this route. As you can see, the outside temperature currently 23, ideal for the battery. So we're cruising 100 here, and you can hear how quiet is the car. So just for the reference, past the tools with 93%. I won't do this every 10%. We're going to see at 50% where we are at, so this video won't be too long, but we're going to be driving 130 for the most part. I don't think there's too much traffic on the way, so we'll see. So soundproof at 130. Now, if I'm being honest, the Model Y is just asking for higher speed. It's just so effortlessly speeding up. Now, I don't know if this is a subjective feeling, but you can tell me in the comment section. Whenever I charge up the car, I feel like the acceleration is slightly faster. Like maybe the battery is just heated up. Also when it's like almost full, but usually just after our fast charging, like supercharging, it just feels like it's just delivering the power a little bit faster. So I'm not sure if it's me or is that a thing. Tell me in the comment section below. Now the big question, is this new tint helping? Well, I would say sort of yes. It's 24 degrees outside. It's pretty hot on this side where there's no tint, but the panel roof isn't just, you know, hot. I mean, it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not heating. It's not spreading heat towards my head. Well, when it's 30 degrees outside, that is when my Model 3 is, you know, just super hot, and it's not a really pleasant. I've heard from people who are maybe, you know, bald, that it's just burning their head. So I don't have those issues, but it is hot in those cases. You can see how narrow is the back view. Now it's always fascinating to see people from UK driving so far on the left-hand drive, so that's quite interesting. For me, I don't know if I was supposed to drive on the other side. It would just be odd. Okay, so I just realized one thing, and I feel stupid now. In my point of view driving, I was just using the basic autopilot. When you press this little button, you get this blue lane. So that is the FSD. So I'm gonna see how it really drives here in Europe. I'm just gonna signal now that I would like to change lane. Tesla is doing the rest for me. I do have to do just a little input there. And our trip computer is saying we're gonna arrive at 17%. So it's usually correct for the most part. Usually the error is up to 2 to 3% difference. Okay guys, FSD. Sometimes I've figured out that it does do a lane change without my steering input, but very rarely. First I gotta wait that it actually suggests that I change the lane, which is not doing every time I try to record this. Maybe if I increase the speed limit, the cruise to 120, still nothing, which is weird, because it was doing it before. Every time I grab the camera and try to demonstrate this, it just doesn't want to do it. Maybe that's the reason why. But it does change the lane just by tapping the turn signal, sometimes without the need of my steering input. New Model Y suspension. Well, I've changed my Model 3 suspension to Koni Active Comfort, and I would say they're better. It's a rubber edition. It's exclusive in black. They're not red. And I also swapped my springs. My car is just more comfortable. And at first I didn't believe this when Marcus told me that. I was like, yeah, I'll have to do a test. But the new Model Y and the Model 3 is much more comfortable than their predecessors. But shocks, I think, are a bit comfier, but the springs are not. They're still stiff. I can hear like a little banging on the back. With my car, that's almost gone. It's much better. But compared to the Legacy, even with the updated suspension, I was slightly more comfortable. This is better. So that's my review, sort of the new Juniper suspension. And also, I love the quietness of the cabin. The Model 3 was like, wow, it's slightly better, I would say, but it's not, the Model Y is not there. It's just a taller vehicle, and you can hear a little bit of wind, but it's so much better than the Legacy Model Y. Okay guys, I figured out, so one short tap, you mute the speed limit shim. But if you want to apply the speed limit, you just press and hold. So it's going to drop to 100 now, as you can see. I've passed 100 kilometers, currently at 65%. Just past rest stop Modruš. And, well, you can see we're below the average regarding consumption, but it's still pretty solid, I would say, considering everything. So just to show you here, the range when you switch to kilometers shows 340 kilometers, and our consumption is 20 kilowatts. So a bit more, almost 21, and we spent 21. So as you can see that up close here. Now, just entered the tunnel, and look at this. Why doesn't this switch to dark theme? I would really like that. It would be so much better if it would just go to this. Display, relax, and just a dark theme, because it's so much easier to watch this when you're in a garage or in a tunnel. And then when you exit, switch to the light theme. So 4 years I'm waiting for this Tesla. Come on. Please add this. And check out the point of view now. So much better. And to prove my point, display. Okay, chill down. We're gonna put it to auto. In auto, it does decrease the brightness, but still, it's just better on the dark theme. Now, just one thing to point out: the range, the arrival range has increased to 25%. So that's looking good. Now we're coming to this mountain area where there's a lot of climb, and this is where I just disengage the autopilot, or I don't use it at all, to be honest, in my car, in my Tesla. The reason for that is generally cruise control. If you set a speed, it's just going to keep that speed and drive at that pace, and it's increasing the consumption if you watch this little thing here. So this gray or green, when it's recuperating, that is, wasn't focused. That is indicator how much power you're using, and if you're going uphill fast, it's just high, but then sometimes I just adjust it. I let go a little bit when I'm climbing up, lower my speed just slightly to spend less juice, and then when I'm going downhill, I may be sometimes speeding up, but when you're going downhill, it's just using inertia, or I'm just slightly recuperating and putting back into the battery, so just lowering my consumption. So versus driving without autopilot or cruise control, FSD, whatever, and with, you're just spending less power. So one of the reasons why I don't use those 8 systems, and I'm more focused on the road, to be honest. If you get too comfortable with these 8 systems, they're not perfect, and eventually you might get in a tricky situation and potentially an accident. Well guys, I was trying to mute the music and I accidentally pressed the wiper control, and now it smeared all the bugs on the windshield. You can't see them maybe, but you can see it there. So yeah, this really sucks. This was much better on the past Model Y. Well guys, I'm passing next to a Supercharger at 56%. Considering I've started with 95, I would be here with 51%, which is roughly the same with my Model 3 long range. So there's some digging down there, so maybe they will upgrade this to a V4 Supercharger, hopefully by the summer. It's May now. Okay, 50% of battery range is 261, so 261 kilometers on display at 50%. Past 156 kilometers so far. So just passing rest stop Janče. This is a planned supercharger, Tesla Supercharger. Should be finished by end of 2025. Hopefully latest 2026, but it's like halfway stopped. You have food, so it's a gas station as well. So looking forward to seeing the new Supercharger here. It should be on both sides. So it's on a rest stop, so you don't have to get off the tools and off the highway. Now this is sunproof at 140. Still very decent and very good. Well guys, look who it is. Nikola Tesla, born in Croatia. So yes, this is where Nikola was born. So Elon named after him Tesla Motors. So it's just Tesla now. But yeah, he was close here, living close to Gospić. So how cool is that? Okay, just passing at the Zir or Mazzola rest stop. It's before a tunnel. Now, we've just passed 200 kilometers, and we are at 37% of range. So if I press here, 196 kilometers, so that is that. We've passed, spent 41 kilowatts. So consider everything in the size of this vehicle. 20 kilowatts isn't that bad for this normal highway driving. Okay, now to answer the question, will I be getting the new Model Y? Well, honestly, this would be perfect car for me. Size-wise, I'm a tall person, and I'm missing the hatch on my Model 3. This is so much easier to get in because the Model 3 is low. But considering the depreciation of Model 3, there's just so many out there in Germany from a lease company. Rent-a-cars were just depreciating the general market. There's also incentives, so considering the kilometers, I think my car is worth more, but it's hard to get the money that it's actually worth. So in order to sell it for the price that would probably sold for now, I would like to put more kilometers on it. So I'm probably going to keep it for another year or two, and then eventually switch to the Model Y because of practicality. This might be a candidate. I'm not a huge fan. I actually dislike this no stock for the gear selector, and I might just go for the Legacy because it's just going to be way cheaper. I won't have to add so much money on it. Selling now my Model 3 and then having to add more money to buy this new car is just financially not a smart idea. And the problem is as well, this year there's no incentives for personal individuals. It's just for companies. The next year will be, but it's only once a year. In Croatia, it's 9,000 euros. But they've last year limited it to 50k max price value. So this is over 50k, so it doesn't qualify for the incentive, meaning I would have to go for the base Model Y. Range-wise, that one would be short, and I'm not sure if the long-range rear-wheel drive would fit under 50. Maybe it would, but still, once you get used to the all-wheel drive, it's not that it's not good as a rear-wheel drive, but I would definitely prefer an all-wheel drive. I don't know, maybe I would go for just the long-range rear-wheel drive, but currently Tesla in Croatia doesn't offer buyback. So like in the States, even in Germany, you can just give your Model 3 and just, buy a new one with a difference. But in this case, they don't offer that in Croatia, so it's a hassle selling it on the ads and trying to get a good price for it. So, and if you want the incentive, the deal is you need to pay in advance the full price. So meaning you have to borrow the money from either a bank or your family, and the interest rate for the lease is just too high. It's like 700 euros for a lease every month, which is crazy expensive. So no, that's the reason I'm not upgrading. My Model 3 is fine. I just upgraded my suspension. It's much softer. I didn't have time, but I'm going to do a little bit of sound dampening. Hopefully will slightly reduce the wind noise, and I'll be happy with the Model 3 as it is. And then eventually I will upgrade to the Model Y, but upgrade to a used one. I will definitely not go and buy a new car because it's just losing too much value in the first year or two, and it's just financially smarter to buy a 1 or 2 year old car. Buying new cars, it's if you have a company, if you're financing it, makes sense. But if you're buying it with borrowed money or borrowed cash or just cash, then it's really not a smart financial decision. Trust me, I tried that. So I paid off my car. Of course, I borrowed some money and family, but I returned it. But if I had to go to the bank, heck no, I'm not paying interest. So to the banks, they're just terrible interest. Now regarding the range, well, I have a feeling that this car is same as my Model 3 when it was new. It would give me a same estimate, same consumption, but after a year, the battery just degraded around 8%, and it's roughly 10%, maybe in the winter up to 15% in range drop. So this was great when it was new, the amount of percentage I had when I arrived to Zadar, but after a year or two it's just dropped. After 3 years it's noticeable. It's not a big deal, but I would just prefer to have the full range. I think the capacity has dropped maybe too fast. If it was like in 5 years or 6, I would say that's fine, but honestly these batteries start degrading, which is I guess normal for them, but they just start degrading after first year, and it stabilizes around 10% then, but again, you're just missing that 10%, which is really nice and comfortable, to be honest. We're gonna start our descent now. Sounds like I'm a pilot. Descent. We're gonna pass the tunnel and then we're just going downhill, so our consumption will definitely drop from 20, but it's 20 for the whole trip for the most part. Well guys, seat review. Well, these seats are surprisingly good. A bit stiffer than the Legacy, but it's maybe better because of that. After almost a 3-hour drive, it's like 2.5 now, but no back pain, maybe slight stiffness, but I think I should be fine. The butt, no stiffness, no pain, so quite good. I like it. So an improvement. To be honest, I haven't driven the Model Y on a long trip, but I did the Model 3, and sometimes, you know, long trips, 3 hours, I need a break just to stretch my legs and my buttocks, but so far in this car, pretty solid. We're doing our descent. Ignore this 60, it's not 60. But as you can see, we're now recuperating, and our power consumption will start dropping. I'm assuming it might drop up to 16, but we're gonna see. After the tunnel and down descent, this Jasenice will be also a new supercharger on the rest stop, so both sides. Sometime 2025, 26, we'll see. Probably late because they're waiting on the power upgrades on these rest stops, but when these will be here, it'll be great because you won't have to, again, get off the highway in order to charge up. I love this view here. Okay guys, our consumption is 18.5. Now we're coming to an exit ramp, so let's see how this FSD will guide us through the exit. So it should drive us to the pay tool. So my hands are on the wheel, of course, just we're going slow because there's semi, but there's no point of overtaking it now. So let's see here. I'm applying the force to the steering wheel, obviously. Signaling that I'm exiting. So, okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, my hand is on the wheel. Did it a little bit not the way I would like, but then now it's just a standard autopilot, so it disengaged. But you know, it was okay, but Yeah, still not perfect. This is again all beta and not something you should be using. She's just slowed down now, ridiculously slow. Okay, I'm taking over. I've just exited tools with 29%, 154 kilometers. We're going towards Zadar on the local road. There is a second exit for Zadar, which is a fast road, but it passes next to a supercharger. This one's less distance, so that's why I'm taking this one. And we'll see the consumption by the time I get to the city. It should be a little bit less. Well, guys, I've entered the city. You can see consumption slightly dropped below 18. We've arrived with 27% more than estimated when we started, which was like 25 or less. So great range, impressive. Again, new battery, when it degrades, you're gonna have at least 10% less, but all considered, for an SUV, still very good in 2025. Well, for a very end, just to show you how the headlights look. Now, the other part is not flickering, so you can see what is the turn signal usually. That's more brighter, as I mentioned in the review.